I don't really know how to start this match review, to be honest. I feel like it could be a little bit of a carbon copy of Portsmouth. Really, so if you want, literally just put the exact re-upload the exact same video. I don't think anyone would particularly notice the difference in terms of what I'm talking about. And a lot of the things said at Pompey, at Blackburn, at Derby, a little bit against QPR, a little bit of Sunderland, could literally be repeated here again. It was another dismal display for Bristol City, and there's been way too many of those recently. For us, it ended in a 2-0 defeat at the Hawthorns, a comfortable backies win. Probably the easiest win they'll have at the Hawthorns all season. Quite honestly, Bristol City did not manage to lay a single glove on Carlos Corberán's team, and yeah, just another abject display on the road, another abject performance, very subpar performance, being let down by too many players, um, and ultimately just nowhere near the level of a really good team like West Brom. Um, City lined up like such. Max O'Leary in goal. He stayed despite his mistake, the high-profile mistake on last weekend against QPR. It was in back four of Zach Viner, Rob Dickey, Luke McNally, and Cam Pring. It was Jason Knight and Marcus McGuane in the middle of the pitch. Good to have him back. Mehmeti, Max Bird, and Scott Twine. Good to have him back as well. And Fally Mayulu started up front because Naki Wells had a minor injury. Hopefully, he'll be back for the Boxing Day fixture against Luton. Just a pretty bad 90 minutes. No point in the game was there a 5, 10, 15, 20 minute period where I felt like we're cranking some pressure on here. We're putting the Albion backline under threat. We're posting a threat going forward. Absolutely none of that. And another display where Bristol City just don't find any sort of rhythm, any sort of I just suppose um, attacking threat, and that is so frustrating. It's just infuriating, really. Um, that is not the reason we lost today. Like, let's be honest. We were nowhere near the West Brom on many levels, not just attacking wise. Defensively, we were well off it. Midfield was surpassed so many times. It's bad when Jason Knight gets booked for literally just getting so frustrated, and he just decides to commit one of the most stupid things I've ever seen. But it's bad when someone like Jason Knight normally is the calm head, the kind of the encourager in the team. He just lost it, and I think a lot of us are losing it with this team as well because it's so inconsistent. But lately, it's been so one dimensional. It's been so one paced. It's been so so predictable, and that is the major frustration with this Bristol City team. Well, I'll talk through the two goals, and I'll talk bigger picture after that. First one comes through Mikey Johnson, who gets both goals. Mikey Johnson getting his first goals of the season in a baggy shirt. It is it's so easy. It's so easy. It's what I said on my Twitter. Tom Fellows gets the ball on the right hand side. Scott Twine is tucking and covering for Cam Pring, who's so much space between Twine and Pring, and Twine, yeah, good that he's covering and showing that determination and work rate, but he's not a fullback. You want Cam Pring like close to him. Cam Pring is miles away from Scott Twine. Tom Fellows beats Twine easily, like you probably expect him to, and then has got that little bit of space to whip the ball in with his right foot. And then Mikey Johnston is literally just completely unmarked in the middle of the pitch, middle of the box. Sorry, it's not good enough on a number of different levels from a Bristol City perspective. It's so easy, and Mikey Johnson. Well, if he wanted a first goal in a while to end that goal drought, that would probably be the chance he wanted. It's just a simple header, and Max, no chance for that one either. And well, yeah, at that point, once you go 1-0 down, and you can see the goal like that, the confidence is just drained. It just drains from your body, and it's just like, oh, here we go again. We're not going to get back into this game, are we? Because up until that point, no, again, a whole 90 minutes, but especially up until that point, no attacking threat, no period of sustained pressure, no urgency in our play, no kind of obvious thing as to what we were doing and what we were trying to do. Just felt like a mess, and ultimately that was the case for the whole 90. And then Mikey Johnston makes it 2-0. This is a nice goal from him, but again, Zach Viner look, he's not a right back, but he's a experienced enough Championship defender. He's played loads of games. He's played right back before in his career. He's played in midfield. He's played obviously predominantly centre back, but you know he should have that awareness. Right, Mikey Johnson. What does he want to do? He is literally famed. He scored tons of goals for West Brom doing this one thing, which was cut in onto it from the left hand side onto his right foot and try and bend it into the far corner. That's exactly what he tried to do. We've got to be aware of that. We don't deal with it. We don't deal with the main threat Marky Johnson has, and it's well. After that, it's just it's a nice finish from Johnston, but it's too easy again for him because that's his major quality, and we don't stop it, and we don't do enough to stop it. And I'm sure I heard something from Liam Manning saying something about attitude and whatnot and about it, and some sort of excuse to cover it up, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough, and it's too many. It's happening too many times now, and it's seriously costing this team a lot of points, and ultimately a few more places up the league table, and what really should be a more competitive league position, but it just isn't happening, and it doesn't look like it's going to change, unfortunately. That was 2-0. At that point, I think we all kind of knew, right, we're not really getting back into this game. But at least the least Bristol City could have shown at that point, and Liam Manning could have shown at that point, is a little bit of intent. We don't do any of that. We changed to a back five at half time when Ross McCrory comes on for Max Bird. And maybe, the players get a little bit of a rollicking. Maybe Liam Manning isn't that type of character. Like, who knows what he's like behind the scenes. But, maybe just a bit of a change, bit of an intensity change, bit of a pickup. Absolutely none of that happens. It's literally the one-page nonsense we saw all of the first half again. It's the same rubbish, and it's literally there's no change, and it's that all. It's the first half all over again. But West Brom looked more threatening, and they looked more of an attacking threat. Mikey Johnston and Diangana when he comes on. Madja Fellows goes 1-on-1. He's literally 2-on-1 with Madja alongside him against Max O'Leary. He has to score it to Madja. That becomes 3-0. Devante Cole misses a huge chance when he comes on as well. And Bristol City don't really carry an attacking threat. Yu Hirakawa comes on. He nutmegs Carl Bartley, I think, and then puts it across the box. And McCrory, one of the worst shots I've ever seen. Literally, it's a tap straight to Alex Palmer when he's got an opportunity to, kind of maybe hit it through a crowd of bodies, and maybe Palmer is outsighted. None of that happens. Hits it straight at Alex Palmer. Just about summed it up. And Bristol City, over the game, 41% possession. Not really not a game plan where it was possession based. Okay, fine. Did we hit the Did we look threatening on the counter attack? I test no. XG test 0.52. Last just about half a goal. Like it's didn't carry a threat going forward. Did our attacking players get involved in the game? Not really. Fally Mayuli looked isolated at points. Scott Twine was more interested in spending time on the floor than actually, getting on the ball and creating chances for Bristol. Tiana Sameti was okay at points and looked like he was threatening and carried the ball up the pitch, but he did a lot what he did last season, which was slowing things down when he really should have just accelerated and got away from his man and tried to put a ball in the box or had a shot or something. Did too much of that. Max Bird, I thought, looked okay for 45 minutes, if I'm being brutally honest. I thought he had a few moments where he could have picked out passes, but got in some decent pockets of space. He was hooked at half time, and we tried to change to back three. Knight, kind of, yeah, he played. McGuane, kind of similar story. Our fullbacks, I know Zach Viner's not a fullback, so I'll let him off. And considering McCrory and Tanner are coming back, maybe hopefully we'll see one of them slot in the right back soon. But Cam Pring had an awful game, and yeah, I think it was summed up when he had to drag down Tom Fellows literally on the halfway line to stop an Albion counter on minute number 28. Minute number 28 that happened. Not when we're 1-0 up, not when we're trying to find eke out a draw or anything. Minute number 28, when it's 0-0, he tries to do that and he gets himself booked. Just a shambolic performance and a bit of a shambolic result from a Bristol City perspective as well. And not much else I can say on the performance. Let's talk bigger picture. Let's talk about what's actually going on. Liam Manning has got a lot of things he needs to work out on pretty soon, because this run of form has been pretty dreadful. And that is, uh, I think, 7 games, and 1 win, and that was against Plymouth, who are notoriously bad away from home. I know we've had a couple of difficult games in there. Sunderland away is difficult, Watford away is very difficult, and Burnley at home. Burnley in the top four, and Sunderland in the top four, and Watford are in the top six, I think. So no, they're in the top, they're eighth, but still, notoriously difficult games. Them games, but still, 1 win in 7. Last 4 games, if I'm thinking right, and I think the Sunderland goal was from a long throw in as well. So last 4 games, not a single goal from open play. Goal against QPR obviously came from Scott Twine's set pieces, and quite honestly, last 4 games haven't really looked that threatening uh, in open play either, which is the most concerning thing out of all of this. And a real lack of style of play is incredibly concerning, considering this exact same conversation was happening this time last year when Liam Manning was first appointed. Can we see a shift in how Bristol City play? I thought we saw that start the season when we were more pass happy, more getting into Bird, Knight, McGuane, whoever it was, and trying to find those pockets of space and trying to build up through the thirds and all of that kind of buzzwords and things we were seeing. That's gone. We've tried to be more direct. It's not working because we don't really know what we're doing when we go direct. And when we try to play out the back, we look completely confused in terms of what we're doing. We don't really look like we have a structure when we play out the back. We don't really know what we don't. It doesn't really look like we know what we're doing. Defensively, we looked shocking today. So many times it was just easy balls through our middle of the pitch, and Dickey and McNally, and when we went to a back three, in particular, Viner just completely caught out of position too many times, and just a lack of awareness of what we were doing. That's concerning. I think there's a level of understanding, I think, from me anyway, that maybe this is a long term project for Liam Manning. But what I want to see really desperately is more of a style of play, more of a fixed style of play, and we'll stick to that no matter what. Not seeing that, I I'm all for being flexible in games. That the best teams are flexible. The best teams in the championship, the best teams that get promoted are flexible, right? But we don't look like we have a clear idea. Even when we change kind of tactics a little bit, we don't really know what we're doing when we flip between tactics either. Just a complete shambles in my eyes, anyway. From a tactical setup point of view.
We're heading into a significant period for Bristol City, I think, and a significant period for Liam Manning, and a busy one. There's that 4 huge games in the league before the FA Cup tie at Ashton against Wolves. Luton home on Boxing Day is going to be tricky, and is going to be another test of whether we can break down a team. Ashton Gate, Pompey will be largely the same, I'm imagining, and then a trip to Home Park, and then Derby will definitely be the case at Ashton Gate as well. So 3 home games, but four games against sides at the moment below Bristol City and have been struggling all season. So it's it's a test for City, and it's going to be one that hopefully we can show improvement in, especially from recent weeks. But there needs to be a hell of a lot of improvement and a hell of a lot of change, I think, and hopefully we can see that, and hopefully we can see a bit of a new look Bristol City. But yeah, pretty poor, very poor display. No sugarcoating it. Very poor last few weeks for City, and something definitely has to change by the time Boxing Day comes around. Because if we put in performance like that against a Luton team with still a hell of a lot of quality in them from their Premier League days, it's going to be a seriously tough afternoon at Ashton game. Hopefully that doesn't come around. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Keep safe, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.